Hey everybody, it's the Ioniq guy, and I've got big news for you today. The Hyundai Ioniq 6 just made its big North American debut at Auto Mobility Los Angeles, and Hyundai's provided me with all the details that you guys want to know about, including specifications, battery capacities, charging information, and all the different trim levels for the United States. So if you're interested in finding out more, stay tuned. So those of you who are big electric car nerds like me, you've probably already seen the Hyundai Ioniq 6. It's made its debut in Europe and in Korea. But today we're finally getting a look at the car that we'll be getting here in North America, specifically the United States. So in a lot of ways, the Ioniq 6 is more or less very similar to the Ioniq 5. You have the same charging capability, same size batteries, rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. You also get parametric pixels all over the car, which is the design language that is going to be most commonly used between all the Ioniq branded vehicles. The car is all about sustainable materials, from the paint to the plastics to the fabrics. All that stuff has eco-consciousness in mind. So the Hyundai Ioniq 6 is one of the most aerodynamic cars available, with a drag coefficient of 0.22 here in the United States. Now, because of our laws about requiring large side view mirrors, we do not have the option to get digital side view mirrors, which really lowers the footprint of the mirror and makes the car just a little bit more efficient in other markets. So vehicles in markets where they can have the digital side view mirrors, those have a drag coefficient of 0.21. And because of this efficient design, we get big range figures that aren't seen with its sister car, the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Because the Ioniq 5 is a more squared off, boxy design, it doesn't even compare in terms of aerodynamics to the Ioniq 6. So with the big battery and rear-wheel drive on the Hyundai Ioniq 6, you can expect a total driving range of 340 miles. And that's still kind of pending because they haven't completed the EPA certification for range of the car, but they're saying 340 miles, so we can anticipate that it will be in that vicinity, well over 300 miles. We're also seeing on the Hyundai Ioniq 6 a new emblem design from Hyundai, which is a much more flat emblem, and it's more of a brushed metal look than the traditional chrome we've seen on other Hyundais in the past. So I think that's a really cool new look for the Ioniq 6, and hopefully we see that transition to the Ioniq 5 in the 2024 model year. The Hyundai Ioniq 6 is also the first electric car from Hyundai to be fully over-the-air updatable, and that includes drivetrain. All systems in the car are able to be updated over the air. So this is really big because other automakers are going this route. Tesla's been doing this for a long time, but now we finally get that with the Ioniq 6. And we've seen that with the Ioniq 5, that we have over-the-air updates available, but it's only for the infotainment system and maps. And in terms of battery preconditioning, the Hyundai Ioniq 6 comes with it across the board. Every Ioniq 6, base model, rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, it doesn't matter. You'll be able to precondition your battery and get the 10 to 80% charging speeds of 18 minutes. Just like the Ioniq 5, the Ioniq 6 is going to have V2L, meaning you can output up to 1.9 kW from the charging port on the outside of the car. The top-level limited trim will also have a V2L port under the back seat. So just like the Ioniq 5, Hyundai is continuing its partnership with Electrify America in providing all Ioniq 6 buyers with 2 years of unlimited 30-minute charging sessions on the Electrify America network. The Ioniq 6 comes with all the same safety features as the Ioniq 5, and I'll just go right down the list. Forward collision warning, forward collision avoidance assist, lane departure warning, blind spot collision avoidance, safe exit warning, intelligent speed limit warning, driver attention warning, blind spot view monitor, high beam assist, smart cruise control, stop and go machine learning, navigation-based smart cruise control for curves, lane following assist, highway driving assist 2, rear view monitor, surround view monitor, parking assist warnings, front side reverse, parking collision avoidance assist, forward side reverse, remote smart parking assist 2. Whew! So in terms of drivetrain, just like the Ioniq 5, it rides on the same eGMP platform as the upcoming Ioniq 7 as well. The front suspension is McPherson strut. In the back, you've got a multi-link rear suspension. You have frequency-sensitive high-performance shock absorbers. The car is also able, in the all-wheel drive model, to disconnect the front or rear motor completely from the drivetrain, and this allows for improved efficiency. Dynamic torque vectoring is here as well. Uses partial braking and motor torque when cornering. Obviously, we have the same regenerative brake system with multiple levels and iPedal, which allows for one-pedal driving. Now, something that is exclusive to the Ioniq 6 is something called EV Performance Tune-Up, which is a drive mode that allows you to adjust the steering effort from normal and sport, motor power, accelerator, pedal pressure sensitivity, and you can even control whether you want all-wheel drive, auto all-wheel drive, or two-wheel drive. So you're going to be able to create a completely custom drive setting that's not eco, normal, or sport, or snow, that can have all the best features of whatever drive mode you prefer. I really wish this would be a feature that comes to the Ioniq 5. Maybe we'll see that in the 2024 model year, but for now, this is going to be an Ioniq 6 exclusive. Something exclusive to the Ioniq 6 also is something called Electric Active Sound Design, and this allows you to choose one from a list of multiple sounds that when you accelerate in the car, it'll push the sound through the sound system, and it'll be kind of a futuristic acceleration sound since we don't really have the sound of a traditional gas-powered engine anymore. So this will give you more of that experience of really accelerating and the power behind the electric drive system. The Ioniq 6 is going to come in a plethora of colors, including Gravity Gold Matte, Onyx Black Pearl, Serenity White Pearl, Curated Silver Metallic, Transmission Blue Pearl, Ultimate Red Metallic, and Digital Green Pearl. And on the interior, you have three color options. You have black, gray, and dark green/gray, which is similar to my Ioniq 5. So those are the real big bullet points I wanted to hit to open up this video. Now let's get into the more nerdy details that I know a lot of my viewers are interested in. Nerd! So let's talk about the specific powertrains that are going to be available here in the United States. So first up is rear-wheel drive standard range, which is kind of in line with the base model Ioniq 5 here. You have 149 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. You have a battery pack, which is lithium-ion polymer, just like all their other EVs. But the voltage is 480 volts, which is more in line with its competitors. And it has a battery capacity of 53 kilowatt hours. But just because it's running at a lower voltage, you still get the same 10 to 80% in 18-minute charging time. So at home on a level 2 charger, charging from 0 to 80%, you'll be able to charge the battery in 5 hours and 20 minutes. So here in the US, for the SE, SEL, and limited trims, you have your choice of rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. If you go for the rear-wheel drive variant, you'll get 225 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. Now, if you go with the all-wheel drive system, you have a total system output of 320 horsepower and 446 pound-feet of torque, and this is identical to the Ioniq 5. You also have the same 800-volt architecture, same 77.4 kilowatt-hour battery. And on a level 2 charger at 11 kW, you can go from 0 to 80% in 6 hours and 55 minutes. And on a 350 kilowatt DC fast charging station, you'll get 10 to 80% in just 18 minutes. So another interesting stat is that on the rear-wheel drive standard range with the small battery, that battery pack weighs 766 pounds, and the 77.4 kilowatt hour battery pack on the upper trims weighs 1,056 pounds. So it's kind of interesting to see the battery pack weights. I don't know if we saw that on the Ioniq 5 press release. The turning diameter for the Ioniq 6 is 19.4 feet curb to curb. Now let's talk about the braking system. Even though you don't really use it with an electric car, it's still there and still important. So on the front you have 12.8-inch rotors that are ventilated, and in the rear you have solid discs that are also 12.8 inches. We have an electronic parking brake with auto hold, just like on the Ioniq 5. So let's talk about the safety systems. All models of the Ioniq 6 here in the US will have blind spot collision avoidance assist. Surround view monitor is going to be exclusive to the limited trim, just like the Ioniq 5. Blind spot view monitor, which is the little camera view in the driver display that shows your blind spots, that's also only standard on the limited trim. Another feature exclusive to the limited trim is parking collision avoidance assist. That is not found on either the SE or SEL. The SEL and the limited trims have forward collision avoidance assist with junction turning avoidance, which is something that's not found on the SE trim. So lane keeping assist, lane following assist, intelligent speed limit assist, driver attention warning, and safe exit warning are all standard across the board. Just like with the Ioniq 5, The base level SE comes with Highway Drive Assist Level 1, and the SEL and the limited trims come with Highway Drive Assist Level 2, which does have machine learning, as well as automatic lane change. Auto high beams are standard across the board, as are rear occupant alerts. Something you might have heard of in the news lately is Hyundais and Kias being stolen through this stupid TikTok challenge that kids are doing. And you'll be happy to hear that all Ioniq 6s come with an immobilizer, which prevents any sort of theft the way that these Hyundais and Kias were stolen through this TikTok challenge. So no worries on that front. So in terms of dimensions of the car, the wheelbase is 116.1 inches, overall length is 191.1 inches, width is 74 inches, and the height is 58.9 inches. Ground clearance is 5.6. So the curb weights of these cars, the rear-wheel drive standard range is just under 4,000 pounds at 3,935. The rear-wheel drive SE/SEL or limited trim, depending on options, is going to be between 4,200 and 4,400 pounds. The all-wheel drive is going to be between 4,400 and 4,600 pounds, respectively. We don't have fuel economy equivalent numbers yet, but those should be coming out before the car is released. So luggage capacity for the Ioniq 6 is 11.2 cubic feet. So just like the Ioniq 5, we do have a very small frunk at 0.4 cubic feet, which is just enough to hold a V2L adapter, your tire inflation kit, and maybe a first aid kit. So let's get into the real good stuff that I know you guys are here for, and that's the trim differentiation. So just like the Ioniq 5, we have an SE, an SEL, and a limited trim, and let's talk about wheels. So the SE is going to get 18 by 7.5 inch alloys, but on the SEL and the limited trims, you'll get 20 inch by 8.5 inch alloys. The SE comes with 225 55 R18s, and the SEL and limited trims with their 20 inch wheels get 245 40 R20s. Something with the Ioniq 6 that doesn't come over from the Ioniq 5 is that the lighting across the board on the Ioniq 6 is all the same. You don't have any trim levels that have any different lighting. So you get LED daytime running lights, LED projector headlights, automatic headlights, high beam assist, LED interior lights, cargo lights, LED tail lights, the center high mount stop light. That's all standard on every Ioniq 6. All three trims come with body colored side mirrors. The mirror housing base, which is the little stalk that holds the mirror, is standard black on the SE and SEL, but gloss black on the limited trim. The mirrors are heated across the board. On the limited trim, they're power folding. You get blind spot in the mirror as well as LED turn signal indicators, all standard. Just like the Ioniq 5, here in the United States, all models come with automated door handles that pop out and retract automatically. You don't have to worry about pushing your finger on one side, similar to a Tesla. Rain sensing wipers only come on the limited trim. Unlike the Ioniq 5 with its big panoramic glass roof, the Ioniq 6 is only available with a standard, smaller sunroof, and that is only available on the limited trim. That's not available on the SE or the SEL. The hands-free smart trunk, where you just stand next to the trunk and wait a few seconds and it automatically opens up, that's standard across the board. The SE trim gets stain-resistant cloth seating, where you get the H-Tex imitation leather on the SEL and limited trims. And more or less identical to the Ioniq 5, all trims come with an 8-way power driver's seat, but you only get an 8-way power passenger seat on the limited trim. On all other trims, it's just a 6-way manually adjustable. You have heated front seats on all three trim levels, standard, and ventilated seats and memory seats on the limited trim. Hyundai's reserving the top of the line sound system for the limited trim, just like the Ioniq 5. And that's 8 speakers, including a subwoofer on the partial shelf. And sadly, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are wired still. There's no wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay yet. So you're going to have to plug in if you want to use those. Hallelujah! We're finally getting some Type-C ports in the car for charging. You have one USB-A in the front, which I'm assuming is for Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. But you also get 2 USB Type-Cs in the center console and 2 USB Type-Cs in the rear for your passengers. On the SEL and the limited trim, you will get a wireless charging pad located in the front which is more open than in the Ioniq 5. So I would imagine that that will allow for better air circulation and less chances of your phone overheating, which has been a repeating issue with me in the wireless charging pad in the Ioniq 5. Limited trim gets the premium door sill plates, just like the Ioniq 5. Your power window switches in the Ioniq 6 are interestingly located in the center console near the cup holders. You have sun visors that slide and are also illuminated. So in terms of HVAC, you have dual automatic climate control, second row, vents for your passengers. The heat pump is standard across all three trims. It's only not on the SE standard range. So the small battery pack does not have a heat pump. So rear wheel drive, all wheel drive, across the board, they all have a heat pump, similar to the Ioniq 5 in the 2023 model year. The Ioniq 6 has taken the pixelated steering wheel to a new level. They have little LEDs in them. When you activate the car's smart assistant for requesting things, it'll light up and it will also show you the state of charge for the battery when you're charging, which is a nice little touch. Leather wrapped steering wheel across the board. Unfortunately, the steering wheel is only heated on the limited trim. I would have liked to seen that on the SEL trim as well. The SE trim has auto up and down driver window, but not auto up and down passenger window. That's reserved for the SEL and the limited trims. Remote Smart Park Assist 2, where you can control the car wirelessly through your key fob to pull it into a tight space or pull it out of a tight space, is only available on the limited trim. Second row V2L is also exclusive to the limited trim. It's not available on the lower trims. On the SE trim, you have a manual day-night mode for your rear view mirror, but on the SEL and the limited trim, you have auto dimming with home link for your garage door. The really cool 64 color interior ambient lighting is only available on the SEL Unlimited trim. And what's cool about this is that you can have multiple colors throughout the cabin. So you can have on the door trim as well as the dashboard, and you can have different variations, which you can really create a cool atmosphere in the car. I really like that. And finally, Hyundai Digital Key 2.0, which allows you to use your smartphone, be it Apple or Android, to unlock and start your car, is available on the SEL and limited trims. So I know this has been a long video, guys, but I really wanted to give you guys all the fine details about the Ioniq 6. So I'm really excited about the Ioniq 6. I think it looks really cool. It's got a lot of cool features that the Ioniq 5 doesn't have. And hopefully those will trickle down into the Ioniq 5 in the 2024 model year or potentially later. But I think we have room in the North American market for an electric sedan. Sedans haven't been selling well in the US as of late. Most shoppers like myself are looking more for crossovers, and the Ioniq 5 fills that void. But now they're showing that they're really committed to the Ioniq brand by releasing the Ioniq 6, even though sales of sedans aren't that great. So hopefully this vehicle can compete with its top competitor, which I'm sure they've benchmarked as the Tesla Model 3. I think it competes. Charging speed is better than the Model 3. In terms of performance, it should be in line with the Model 3, at least the non-performance version. But we do know that a Hyundai Ioniq 6N version is in the future, as is the Hyundai Ioniq 5N. And those are going to be real performance cars. Those are going to compete with the Model 3 performance and the Model Y performance in that regard. I don't have pricing for you guys today. We will probably find that out more early next year. The car should be going on sale sometime in the first half of 2023. Hyundai has put up the Ioniq 6 for pre-order with a special edition, launch edition in Europe. And just converting prices, it does come in just a little bit higher in price versus the Ioniq 5. I think the fully loaded early edition in Europe is just about $60,000 in the US. So it's not a cheap car by any stretch of the word, but that standard range model should come in at least in the low 40s, maybe mid 40s, but we will see when that information does finally become available next year. It's going to be really cool to see just how efficient this car can be. I have a feeling that if you hypermile this thing, you're probably going to be able to go over 400 miles, no problem. Obviously, with supply chain issues, it might be delayed. We really don't know at this point. But the car is definitely going on sale very soon in Korea, in Europe, and some other markets. But time will tell. We'll see. Obviously, if you guys want to find out more about the Ioniq 6, make sure you're subscribed to the channel because I'm going to have all the latest news when it does become available. So As always, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.